So this is EDGAR. It is a website set up by the Securities and Exchange Commission that allows the general public to look at any public company's filings. The simplest way to search for a company is we see this search box right here. It says company and person lookup. We could type in the name of a company. We'll type Netflix. So here are all of Netflix's filings. As you can see, there are various types of filings, 8Ks, these DEFs, which are also known as the proxies, 10Ks, and SC13Gs, SC13Ds. What we're going to be interested in today is the 10K. The 10K is the most comprehensive filing that a company issues. It happens within 60 days of the end of the fiscal year. That's really dependent on the size of the company. But here we see the 10K. So I'm going to click Filing. And there are a lot of different parts to the 10K. All these, if you can see, numbers 2 through, it says down to 15, are exhibits. We don't have to worry about the exhibits. What we want is this main filing here. You'll see because it's got the biggest file size. And we'll go ahead and click that. Now, the 10K gives an overall description of the company and describes the financial status of the company, any significant events of the company within the previous fiscal year. So you can see from the start page, it tells you the name of the company, the trading symbol, if there's any other aspects of the company, whether it's an emerging growth company. We'll see that it has the number of shares that the company has outstanding. This part right here, the table of contents, we'll see that there are a lot of different pieces within this filing. What we're going to look at is items 1, 1A, and item 7. These are the business, the risk factors, and the management's discussion and analysis. So the business just tells you what the company does. We pretty much all know what Netflix does, but it'll give other insights, like it'll talk about specific segments of the company, certain geographical segmentation, the number of employees it has, who the competition is. The risk factors will tell you everything that could potentially adversely affect the company. Whether that is something on an industry basis, so maybe the demand for streaming video is exceeding Netflix's ability to produce the video. It could be from a company basis, so maybe the amount of hiring that Netflix is doing has not been able to keep up with the demand. Or they've had to lay off people. It could also be things like legal and legislative information that could have an effect on the company. These are something that you would want to put into if you were creating a SWOT analysis for the company. So now we're going to just scroll back up and look at this item 7, management discussion and analysis of the company. Now this is important because it's basically a summation of things like the profit, revenue, gains and losses that have happened to this company over the last fiscal year. It'll give you, brief narratives of it, as you can see down here. And the narrative discloses all this stuff that's going on over here. So, for example, you see that the streaming revenues increased in 2020 to $24.7 billion from 2019 of $19.9 billion, basically. So what they're going to do is try to give reasons for that, and it'll explain as a shareholder how that might affect you. So there's a lot that goes into these filings, and I encourage you to read it. And as I said, the 10K is the best overall filing for finding this type of detailed information.